Having final conversations now with the candidates for Denver Mayor. Jamie Giellis joins us. One question that I've heard from a number of voters, so I want to put it right to you straight off the top. Are you ready to be mayor?
I'm ready. I've been doing this work in some capacity for the last 17 years. I've worked alongside this administration. Michael Hancock knows what I'm capable of. I know what I'm capable of. And it's really about being a strong leader who will go in there and surround themselves with people of diverse and talented backgrounds who can help address the multitude of issues that the city's facing. Let
me ask you about that assemblage of people around you. So for folks who are not as familiar with you as they were with, say, then Councilman Hancock running for mayor, who are some of the people who are going to be in the room with you making decisions?
Well, I think we have to start by acknowledging that I already have brought Lisa Calderon and Penfield Tate to the table. I think it was critical that two people that were really focused on the entirety of the city on this office are coming with me to make those decisions. Of course, I will rely on past mayors, past leaders. Of course, I will lean on understanding from city council, and I'll look to the best and the brightest in different issues that we need to face. But it's going to be a mixture of people that have a lot of history in this city, perhaps have a good understanding of city government, and a mixture of new faces and fresh faces that will help really create that solid conversation that we need to think through innovative solutions going forward.
Is former Mayor Federico Pena in your corner? His wife, who used to run this TV station way back in the day, is a supporter of yours. How about him?
Well, Cindy's been an incredible supporter, and I have Federico's phone number, and I use it. I use it when I need it, and he is the last person that, like me, sort of came a little bit out of nowhere in terms of the mayor's race and took down an incumbent. So there's a lot for us to chat about in terms of what that experience was like, and I truly value his opinion on what's happened with the city and where he would like to see it go too.
Big issue in the closing weeks has been the urban camping ban. You've changed your position on this. You're now saying that you won't repeal it. There's nothing wrong with changing your position when you get new information, but why deny that you change your position?
Well, throughout the campaign, I talked about being adamantly opposed to Initiative 300, and I also talked about the fact that I didn't think the urban camping ban was good policy. 300 was more than a repeal of the camping ban. It would have tied the city's hands in a lot of other ways. The camping ban, nuanced policy as it is, talks about camping in some ways, talks about taking of people's things, the blankets and so forth. So for me, it's about the fact I don't think that it is a good policy as it stands. I think we need to fix it. I think we need to perhaps replace it with something that works and doesn't get us into legal settlements. But it's part of a more comprehensive issue that, to me, is about where are we going to encourage people to go to if we don't want them sleeping on our streets and in our parks? That's the number one question we have to focus on.
But when you look at the language that you've used throughout the campaign, I mean, you literally just you switch one word and it flops the position on its head. I understand that's a nuanced issue, but do you acknowledge that you've changed where you stand on this?
I've talked throughout the campaign that I would look to repeal it and replace it with something better, with better policy. So I can't, as mayor, repeal it. That's a city council decision or it's the public decision. But I don't think anybody is going to move on the camping ban until we understand what we're actually going to do to get people to housing and services.
You being new to politics and campaigns, you've acknowledged that you've made some mistakes and some missteps in this campaign. How do you convince voters that that's not going to translate to City Hall, where there will be rookie mistakes and missteps and so forth?
Yeah. Well, I've said from the beginning, one of the things you're getting with me is that I'm not a politician. I don't come from any political background. I'm not part of any inner circles or entrenched politics in Denver. And that is something that's very refreshing to a lot of people. That also comes with the reality that as you learn to be a public figure, there are going to be things you have to learn along the way. The most important thing, we all make mistakes. We all have to face those head on. The most important thing for me is that we figure out how to learn from those and address them going forward. There will be challenges in this administration, there's no doubt. This is a behemoth job in a fast-moving city that is growing at an incredible pace. But we will create a team that is looking at everything, and that I can promise people that we will be accountable to any mistakes we made, and we will do everything we can to right those and to learn as we go forward.
So if you win, all the developers who have backed Mayor Hancock for years and have given to his campaign, the people that you've criticized, you know they're going to pick up the phone and they're going to call you. It's not like they're going to leave town. How's that phone call going to go?
Well, it starts with this. We've already started to think about what the transition process looks like, and I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to build my team, and I want to build my team with the people that I believe in, that I trust, that share the same vision and values I have as a starting point, and that's going to be my focus. I know the phone's going to start ringing on Wednesday, and those aren't the immediate calls I'm interested in. I want to get things in place to start addressing the issues that Denver cares about, and we'll have to figure out the rest as we go.
Are there one or two appointee positions that you say, these are absolutely critical, I have to have a superstar in this position who can be a change maker?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's several. I mean, first of all, I need to have good people within the mayoral team. The chief of staff is a critical role. I need to have people that can help me navigate through the complexities of the city, that understand it at some level. But as I've talked about through the campaign, some of my core issues include how we handle development. So the head of the Community Planning and Development Department, how we handle housing. So who's going to run housing, who's going to oversee homelessness, who's going to oversee that public works transportation piece and parks. In addition, of course, to all the inner workings, the CFO, the city attorney. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but I would say from the project side, those 5 that I listed are the most critical.
Are you inclined to keep Police Chief Payson?
I'm open to that conversation right now. I think that I want to hear from the rank and file officers about how they feel, and then it's going to be part of a bigger conversation about the culture of the safety department in general and where we're going to go from here.
So I think a lot of Americans have privately grappled with issues of privilege and power and race over the years. Mm-hmm. Your process is played out in public.
Yeah.
What has that been like?
Well, it has been both a learning experience for me and at times certainly painful, because I've spent my life and my career trying to be focused on inclusivity and bringing people to the table and truly trying to understand all the complexities of that. But you know, sometimes pain opens up doors to new learning experiences and opportunities, and I've certainly learned a lot about the issues in Denver and the conversations and the way we have the conversations. And so for me, I look at everything as learning opportunity. I came back from a lot of what's happened in this runoff election and used it as the entree to conversations with people in the community that need to be had, people that feel outside, people that feel like their voice isn't being heard. And so I will continue that going forward.
When you got into this race, you came in for a conversation like this one.
Yeah.
And you were really hesitant to talk about the mayor's misconduct and about his personal character. I brought it up, but you didn't really want to talk about it. But yet that's what you've been hammering on the last week of the campaign. How do we get here?
Well, for me, it came to the fact that when you look at the amount of settlements that have come out of this misconduct, and the fact that stories have emerged even throughout this campaign, not necessarily from the mayor's office, but from different aspects of the safety department, of this culture, I think this is an important thing. And as I'm out on the campaign trail and talking to people, I hear from people that have concerns about that. I want to be somebody who stands up to that. I want to ensure that women have a voice in this conversation. I want to make sure that we don't brush that aside as an issue that's not important, because it is very important that our leaders are ethical, that they stand up for everybody, and that we have a culture within the city, within our employment systems, that stand up for everybody too.
So this is going to sound like an odd question, but if you don't win, can you keep working as an urban planner in a city run by Mayor Hancock and his allies?
Well, I will certainly try. I've certainly never been afraid to battle with the administration before. I won't be afraid to battle it going forward. And this is what I do. This is what I love. It's my passion. And I believe that if Michael Hancock continues as the next mayor, we still have a lot of work to do that I don't feel will get addressed by the administration. And so I'll keep working with the community to find ways to tackle those challenges.
I feel like the local elections are becoming like national elections, that the one ends and the next begins because of the fact that he's term limited in 4 years. Whether he wins re-election or whether you win, people will begin planning campaigns on Wednesday.
Yes. That's
kind of wild.
It is.
Would you consider running for office again if you come up short this time?
I'm open to that. That's a decision to be made down the road. Clearly, this is a process that nobody can understand until they walk through it, especially in this moment against an incumbent. It's been intense, and as we've talked about, I was not from politics. I kind of came from a very different place, and it's grueling not just on the candidate, but you have to acknowledge how grueling it is on family. It's really intense. So that would have to be a decision made with family at the table.
Have you gained or lost respect for the mayor over the course of the campaign?
I think I have respect for anybody that is willing to step up and serve. So we have to put that there. I think some of his behaviors, I think some of his statements, I certainly think what happened last week where he rolled back his statements about what happened with Leslie Branch Wise are really disappointing to me, and we should expect more from a leader.
Last question. I would love for you to address a voter who's conflicted, somebody who's open to voting for you but has enough doubt, enough hesitation that they're thinking about not voting or voting for the mayor. In closing, what would you say to that person?
This is an incredible opportunity. This election is about Denver's quality of life going forward. We have to get a handle on the runaway development. We have to figure out how we're going to be a modern urban version of ourselves. And it's going to require a lot of people at the table to figure that out. What you have right now is an administration that runs with a few at the helm. And we need a leadership team that is focused on the best for everybody. That's what I'm focused on. How we empower and work with and engage neighborhoods and people, and how we address cost of living, quality of life, the frustrations that people hear when you go out into the neighborhoods. This is an opportunity. If we wait another 4 years to bring another leader in, you can expect that the same systems that are trying to pull Michael Hancock through this election with 4 times the amount of funds that I have are going to continue with a similar candidate with a similar mindset. It's time to disrupt the system. And we can do that together, and we can see what happens over the next 4 years, and then it's up to the voters to decide whether I'm worthy of more time.
Jamie Giellis, thank you for coming in to take our questions. Thank you for always being accessible and willing to talk throughout the campaign.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Next YouTube channel for the best of Next
And some other stuff.